Hey, what's up everyone? Ryan Murray here with Arm Designs. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, I hope you like this video. And if you do, go ahead and check out some of my other stuff. So on my channel, I specialize in speed drawings, time-lapse drawings, product reviews for art supplies, as well as customizing some stuff now. But for today's video, I was sent some markers, some alcohol-based markers and paint markers from a company called ParKoo's. I think I'm saying that right. They just sent them to me and asked if I would do an honest review. This isn't a sponsored video or anything like that. So today I am going to be doing a review on their alcohol-based markers. They sent me a 12-pack, and these are the brush tip and the broad nib. So I am going to do a doodle drawing today, and I'm going to use these markers to fill it in. And I'll be talking about these markers and how I like them and everything during the drawing. I hope you guys like it. One more thing, if you guys do like this video, leave me some comments on what you thought about the video and what you think about the markers, as well as subscribe to my channel if you like it. It really helps me out, and if you hit that bell, it'll let you know when I post new stuff too. Thanks guys. All right, so here's the brush tip markers that ParKoo's sent me. This is the packaging it came in, just a little plastic package. Nothing too fancy. It's got the color swatches on the back with the codes. Quick drying, alcohol based, waterproof, non-toxic, smear proof, and fade resistant. Their website down here. Dual tip brush markers. So we've got the brush, which are amazing, and the broad tip, which I don't use quite as much. And we've got the color codes. It's nice to have a name and a color code. All right, let's open them up. It's got a round casing. It's a lot lighter than other markers I've used. It does have the little nibs here, so even though it is round when it's on the table, it won't roll off. ParKoo's brush markers, broad tip and brush tip. Color code on both sides, which is nice. All right, let's take a look at them. A nice brush tip. It's a little firm. We'll see how it does on the paper. It does have a very unique smell. I know all markers have a smell, but this is, it's strong. It's a different smell. Here's the broad tip. All right, let's test these out on some paper. Actually, let's go ahead and make my own color swatch on some paper before we get started on the doodle that I'm gonna do. Here we go. All right, let's get started on our color swatch. We are gonna start out with Y003. And now we're going to go with Y416. So with this only being a 12-pack, it's pretty much going to be our normal colors. We got yellow, orange. And these actually lay down pretty good. They are very strong, like I said before. But they do look like they could blend pretty well, so I'm excited to try that. Next up, we have G804. And this is a yellow-green. All right, we're just gonna speed this up a little bit. This ended up being a really horrible color swatch, so sorry about that. But do stick around for the drawing at the end because it did turn out really good. All right. There's our pretty awful looking color swatch. A little embarrassing, but hopefully you guys will like the drawing that I do much better than this. All right, let's jump into a little bit of shading and just trying a couple different things with these markers, and then we'll move into doing that doodle that I'm gonna do. So here we go. One more thing. There is a bit of bleeding with them, like there is with most markers. I mean, here's an old piece that I did, and you can see it bled through pretty good. There's the back of the markers we just did. So it's really nothing out of the normal. All right, let's try these out. Let's do some blending, see how well they blend together. See how these tips hold up. All right, I got to mess around with them for a little bit, and some of it I like, some of it I'm not liking too much. Like this blue up here that I first did, I was blown away. It blended amazingly. Even though it was oversaturated, it didn't bleed everywhere. I tried a little bit of test just to see how durable the tip was. That worked out pretty good too. But when I did get down here and I was just trying to make some straight lines and then put some lines close together to see how much it bled, I mean, you can see it bled a lot, each one of the colors. You can really see it here in the purple. It's just bleeding into that pink. And then all of this orange color, I tried to leave a space in between, and most of that's gone just from the bleeding. So there is a bit of a bleeding issue, which a lot of markers, I mean most markers are going to bleed, but this was just a lot of bleeding compared to everything else that I did here. There wasn't much that I noticed. So it might just be the oversaturation of color and the difference between the light and the dark with that pink color, you know, all the dark colors bleeding into it when they were wet. So but overall, I'm pretty pleased with the way the gradients turned out. You know, the difference between this and this is a huge difference, but again, it could just be because of that real light pink, and then just oversaturating that area in a short amount of time. I wanted to do some outlines to see how the black worked. There wasn't much smudging or bleeding or anything like that. Again, the smell is extremely strong, but it's not like a permanent marker. At least it's like a sweeter smell, I guess. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the way it turned out. I like the way the yellow still shows through this green when I overlapped it. That makes a pretty cool effect. And then it was hard to get the green and the yellow to blend into each other. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think so far of these. Right now, I'm pretty pleased with these markers, especially for how cheap they are. You know, the real test is going to be getting through that whole drawing, seeing if any of them are dry, if they do bleed too much. And then one more thing that I noticed when I was using the broad tip down here with the green, it did scratch the paper at one point. So these tips are pretty hard. I mean, you can hear it. They're pretty hard on the sides here. So that would be one thing to watch out for. Just be careful when you're using these broad tips. Just don't press too hard. I think I may have pressed too hard, and you know, that's what scraped it. And it seems to be these back two corners are what's sharp. You can hear it just digging into the paper compared to that soft sound. That's the front, and then the back. So just something to look out for when you're doing your work with these markers. But again, I think these are $12.99, which is an amazing
Correction,
deal.
$9.99.
So right now, this is something I would suggest beginning artists get into if they're wanting to try some markers without spending a lot of money. Let's get into the drawing.
Alright, I'm going to start out with just a light sketch with the pencil and get everything laid out the way I want, and then I will go in with ink. And like Gox always says, time for the sexy lines.
Oh yeah!
I did have to use a red marker from a different set because this 12 set did not come with a red marker, which I think is a little strange. So I just recently started doing these doodle art sketches because I think they're pretty cool, even though I normally do realistic portraits. But if you guys like this, let me know and I'll try to do more of them. Thanks. Alright, it's time to start using the markers now, and I'm super excited to get to them finally. Very first impressions just using these markers on this drawing right now is they're extremely bright and vibrant, which is awesome. There's something I noticed though. You can't put the cap on the other cap, really. It doesn't stay. I figured it was only right to draw the markers that I'm doing the review on, so I'm putting the finishing touches on them right now. And even though I'm working with a limited color palette with there only being 12 colors, I'm finding it easy to blend colors and make new colors when I need them. Alright, I'm almost finished with the drawing, and if you can't tell, that light blue color is my favorite color in this set. Okay, so my overall impression of these markers are that they are pretty good. They're cheap and they go on really well, so out of 10 I would give it a 7 overall.
Alright, I'm finished with the markers, using them for the first time. Thank you ParKoo for sending these to me, and I hope you like the review. Okay, so a couple things about the markers. They're extremely cheap. I think that's the big up. So this 12 pack is only $9.99 on Amazon, and there's a link in the description below if you want to check that out. So I'll put a link for the brush tip markers down there, the 12 pack, and then I will also put a link to their other markers down there too if you want to check those out. Okay, so besides the price, they are very rich in color, very bright, which is awesome for markers, especially if you like to do doodle art. Probably my favorite thing about them is the brush tip. I love using brush tips. I'm not a fan of the little bullet nibs or the chisel tip, broad nibs, whatever you want to call them. I really only had 2 negatives about these markers. One I probably said 100 times in the video, so sorry, but the smell is very strong. It's a different smell. It's not like a permanent marker or anything like that. You're not going to get high or anything, so you're not going to want to sniff these markers for that. But yeah, it's kind of like a sweet smell, but you'll see. And one of the other downfalls that I saw was on the broad tip, chisel tip one. They are kind of sharp, so if you hold them at a certain angle, you can definitely cut your paper. There's one super cool thing that I found out about them though. Watch this. See? Pretty cool. Well, I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, go down and smash that subscribe button and check out some of my other videos. Got a lot of other art videos, and if there's anything you'd like to see me do, leave a comment. Let me know and I'll see what I can do about it. Thanks guys, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for checking out my video, and if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click that button if you like this video, and here's a couple other videos of mine. Thanks guys, see you next time.